All right, so let's look at the first one. If I turn on the projector, maybe. There we go. What'd you do for the first one? AC? Good. What did you multiply together? The 2 and the 26. So you need factors of 52. What do we want it to add up to? That's negative 17, right? Okay. So when you do your factors of 52, what do you have? 1 and 52, 2 and 26, 4 and 13. That it? I think that's it, isn't it? Okay. So what did you use then? The 4 and 13. And in particular, you got to make them both negative, right? So what can you factor out of the first two? An x and a 2, right? What are you left with? Be a 2x. Or sorry, an x minus 2. I did it backwards, sorry. X minus 2. So what are you looking for in the second piece? X minus 2 is what do you need to factor out? Negative 13, right? Because that'll flip that sign to that positive sign to a minus for the constant. What's next? Yeah, so we need to, before I solve for x, I need to pull out that x minus 2, right? X minus 2, what are we left with when we pull out the x minus 2? The 2x minus 13. Notice that this, up until this point, this is exactly like what we've been doing, right? Exactly like what's going to be on your quiz, which is another reason why I want to go ahead and do these, because it's practicing factoring, right? Okay. At this point is when we did the extra step. What did we do next? We set each piece equal to 0 and solve for the x, right? We've got a product of two things that gives us 0. So we set each piece equal to 0. So the first one gives us x equals 2, and the second one gives us what? 13 over 2? Okay, thanks. Yep. The only real new thing that we have when we're solving these equations is we want to make sure we have 0 on one side. This process does not work unless you have 0 on the side. Okay? It's very important. If you've got a different number than 0 here, you can't do this. You have to move it to the other side. Okay? The only difference in the process that we've been doing is we set it equal to 0 and then put each factor equal to 0. So that's the only real new thing that we did in this section, right? Everything else is exactly the same. Any issues doing the AC method on that one? What about part B? What did you do first? The GCF. What is the GCF in this case? 5x squared, right? There's an x squared in both terms. What are you left with after you factor out 5x squared? Minus 36. Good. Got x squared minus 36 that's left over, right? This now has two terms in it, right? So we have those three special forms that we could possibly do if we have a two-term polynomial. Which one is this? Difference of squares, right? In particular, I see x squared, so the difference of squares. How does that factor then? Good. Yeah, it's x plus 6 and x minus 6. Good. And now at this point, we do exactly what we did in the previous one, right? We set each piece equal to 0. Again, we've got a product that equals 0. So one of them has to be 0. What makes 5x squared equal to 0? What are you plugging for x? That'd be It'd be 0, right? Good. If it's got an x in there, it's going to be a 0. That's right. This one is x equals -6, and the other one is +6. A what? I'm sorry? So you're right, because it's fourth power, there should be 4 answers. We actually end up when we have an x squared, we count that one twice. Because it factors as x times x, so we count the 0 twice. But you're exactly right. There's 3/4 when we expect 4 answers. That was a little trickier because we have an x and an x, so we count the 0 twice. That's okay? All right. What did you do next? What was your first step in part C? Pull out a 3, right? There's a GCF there. When you pull out your 3, you're left with what? Is that what you said? My goodness. 34. X plus 11. There we go. And now at this point we do AC method again, right? Multiply your 3 and 11 together to give you 33. Not too many factors of 33, are there? Yeah, 1 and 33 or 3 and 11. So what did you have to use? Yeah, the 1 and the 33. So we've got 3x squared plus x plus 33x plus 11. Why did I know they were both pluses, by the way? Why did I know it was plus x and plus 33x? Yeah. The second term is positive, and there's a plus sign on the 11, right? So they had to have the same sign, and they both needed to be positive. What factors out of the first two? An x, and we're left with what did we factored the x out of the first two terms? What are we left with? Apparently something silent. What are we left with? 3x plus 1. So what are we looking for in the next term? 3x plus 1. What can you factor out? 11, and you're left with, hey, 3x plus 1. So we pull out the 3x plus 1. We've got 3x plus 1 times x plus 11. Again, at those first 4 steps that we did are not anything different than what we've done so far, right? That's factoring, right? The only extra thing that was new in this section is set each piece equal to 0. Does that first one make any sense? The 3 equals 0? No, that's not true, right? So that one doesn't give us anything. The second piece gives us x is equal to what? -1/3, good. And this last piece gives us x is equal to -11. Is that one okay? Any questions on that at all? Is this okay? I mean, is this going all right? Not giving me much feedback. Yes, no, maybe. Is that right? Let's go to this last one. First step. You tell me how to do it. Say it again. 50. Okay, and what are you left with? So pull out the GCF of 2. You've got 4x squared minus x minus 14. Next step. Yeah, 4 times the -14. So we got 56 there, -56. Factors of 56. Don't everybody shout at once. What are the factors of 56? Yeah, you're right. Exactly right. We're going to use 8 and 7. So 156, 2 and 28. Yep. 4 and 14. 5 doesn't work. 6 doesn't work. 7 doesn't work. Or 7 does work. 7 and 8, right? What do we need to use now? A positive 7 and negative 8 to get negative 1, right? What can you factor out of the first two terms? X. Left with 4x plus 7. So we better be left with a 4x plus 7 in the second one. What can you factor out of the second two terms? Negative 2. So we factor out that 4x plus 7. We're left with x minus 2. So then we set each piece equal to 0. Does the first one give you anything? Nope, because there's no x's in it, right? So that one's garbage. 4x plus 7 equals 0 gives you negative 7 over 4, and the x minus 2 equals 0 gives you x equals 2. What questions do you have on that? Ready for your quiz? Oh, sweet. Sorry. Ready for the quiz? All right. There's 3 problems on the front, 3 on the back. All right, when you're done, you can go. There's one review already posted on Moodle for the exam, so if you want to start working on review problems for the weekend, posted on Moodle with answers. Both of those, the review and the answers are on Moodle. Remember, we'll also have a second review that we'll look at in class on Monday. That's all we'll be doing on Monday is reviewing. And you'll get your quiz back. Word.